Mr. T and Emmanuel Lewis in A Christmas Dream. Sponsored in part by all your friends at the Mattel Toy Company.
He-Man. Beastman's so mad for Battle Armor, He-Man.
Beastman, Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor each sold separately.
Take that's the day. And that's more days. But look, they're gone. Only He-Man has this power. Oh, yeah? Battle Armor Skeletor has it, too. Now the real fun begins.
Battle Armor, Skeletor, and He-Man figures each sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection. Beastman figure also sold separately from Mattel.
Hi, Sheriff. What's good? The soup. I don't eat much soup anymore.
It's good for you. This ad says Campbell's vegetable beef soup's a real good source of vitamin A. That's important. And another thing.
What?
It tastes good.
Ma'am, I'll have a bowl of that Campbell soup, please.
Kid. Huh? Eat carefully.
Yes, sir.
Here it comes. Diet Coke with 100% NutraSweet. A taste that's one of a kind.
Diet Coke, one of a kind. You can look, but you'll never find a taste that tastes like Diet Coke. Feeling good is on your mind. It's one of a kind. Diet Coke, taste and me.
Introducing the world of Rainbow Bright Starlight from Lucky. It's so separately.
I'm Rainbow Bright, and I have the power of the rainbow to make everybody happy. I'm Lucky, and the cat make me happy. With my purple star and my horse Starlight, wow! I can make you happy and bright.
Starlight, Rainbow Bright, and Lucky are each sold separately. The world of Rainbow Bright is new by Mattel.
Hi, everybody. Come meet my special Disney friends. We're here. We're all here.
Now, only at Hardee's when you buy any sandwich, fries, and Coca-Cola. Get a Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, or Uncle Scrooge stuffed toy for only $1.99. Collect all 5. A great gift value for kids of all ages.
I'm Jane Pauley. Tomorrow on Today, part 1 of a 5-part interview with Burt Reynolds. Also, Kyle MacLachlan, the young star of Dune. Join us tomorrow on Today.
Soup is a harvest of nerves.
How did you get so wet?
I'm not very wet.
Not very wet. Go ahead and eat your soup while it's nice and hot. It's your favorite Campbell's tomato. You eat all that soup, and maybe you'll be okay.
When you're wet and cold and hungry, very few things are more satisfying than a hot, nourishing bowl of Campbell's tomato soup.
Mom. Do you still love me anymore?
Oh, soup is good food.
It's a world of celebration, joyful Yuletide expectation, where peace and love are felt throughout the land. It's an M&M's chocolate candy season. Moms and Santas know the reason. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand. All the world loves M&M's. They're pure milk chocolate joy for everyone.
M&M's chocolate candies. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
It's holiday cheer and surprises with Brooke Shields, Shirley Jones, Joey Lawrence, and Olympic star Mary Lou Retton in Bob Ho 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 Jolly Christmas Hour.
Then it's a spectacular national celebration. Join Donnie and Marie Osmond. Give Me a Break's Nell Carter, host Hal Linden, and the U.S. Naval Academy Choir for Christmas in Washington. Next.
If you're looking at video cassette recorders and you're confused by all your choices, just look at the most important feature of all, the picture. And Sony Betamax records a sharper picture than VHS. That's not just our opinion. In tests throughout the country, more people said the picture was sharper with Sony Betamax than VHS. So why doesn't anyone else have a sharper picture? Because no one else can. Betamax, a sharper picture.
Jimmy Carter on the Cuban Agreement. I love him.
And stepping, stopping, spinning, hopping, dancing to the beat. Moving your feet, bringing your back. If you all be special, so big back. It's a good time for the great day. You all be special, so big back. Moving your feet, bringing your back. Out on the floor, touching the sky. Reaching for take 7-story high. It's a good time. Big night for the great taste. Bringing your back. It's a good time for the great taste. Oh, McDonald's. Is Snake Mountain ready to take on He-Man?
Snake Mountain, Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor each sold separately. You put the mountain together. Batteries not included.
Is your serpent ready to strike? No. Come, He-Man. Come to Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain with Echo Microphone, new from the Masters of the Universe collection. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
What you gonna drink now? Go for milk, don't you think now? Right for milk, you wanna feel great, fifth and first rate. You wanna go for milk now. You'll feel great now. That's for sure, get it straight now. No more and more milk, cause milk got more. You'll really go for milk.
Gorgeous, cool. It's not just cool, it's a bubbling spa. Love the bubbles.
Sprinkled Malibu Barbie and PJ Doll, each sold separately.
That's fun. Let me make the bubbles. Barbie says bubbles tickle her toes. Quick, catch them off. Let's have some punch. But first, pump up those bubbles. Barbie Bubbling Spa.
Barbie Bubbling Spa comes with everything you see here. Dolls each sold separately. From Mattel.
Pizza Hut's got this great offer. A Care Bear sticker book for only 49 cents with any pizza.
Look, Mom. There's Care Bear.
Yes, dear. Kids love them. They're full of stickers and pages to color.
Mom, there's good luck there.
That's nice. They're 2 books, Caring and Sharing and Play It Safe.
Mom, more Care Bears.
That's fine, dear. But remember, Care Bears are only make-believe. Thank you.
The Care Bear sticker books only at Pizza Hut.
Tuesday on the A-Team. Who's got the guts to grab Mr. T's gold and chain him to Murdoch?
Next, don't miss Brooke Shields, Shirley Jones, Olympic star Mary Lou Retton, Heisman winner Doug Flutie, and the AP All-American football team in Bob Hope's Christmas special. Then it's a spectacular star-filled national celebration, Christmas in Washington.
The following program is an NBC special presentation.
Bob Hope presents Ho Ho Hope's Jolly Christmas Hour, starring Brooke Shields, Mary Lou Retton, AP's All-America football team, Joey Lawrence, the International Children's Choir of America, the 1985 Rose Queen and her court, and special guest Shirley Jones. Brought to you in part by Texaco. You can trust your car to the products with a star. So as you drive, always look for the sign of the Texaco star. And by Seiko and your authorized Seiko dealer. This plaque is the sign you can trust when you want the best of Seiko.
Tonight.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something. All right? Just hold on.
Wash your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what?
Adults.
What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip flops. These are my flip flops. Yeah, I really like my flip flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said, and I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That is
and
the
getting their
best
hair done.
shit fucking
Shopping for the
ever.
dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that like playing with.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week so far. If you're anywhere near where I live, well, you're dealing with a lot of snow, And I know some of you all folks that are from like, you know, New England, y'all are like, fucking, you don't know what snow is. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, like, if you saw my Instagram, that was just this morning and it hasn't stopped snowing. Like, it was just funny because, like, I am cold. I took Clubber out for his after dinner shit, and he didn't know what to do. Like, on Instagram, I got his reaction to snow. He's never been in snow before. He's never seen snow before. And so I got him outside for his morning pee. Didn't think about it. Didn't even think about the snow until after he peed. And then he was just kind of like, what in the hell is going on here? But was digging it and wanted to play in the snow. And then when I took him out for his after dinner shit, like he didn't know what to do. He kept squatting and then like running around in circles and then squatting and then like running around. I didn't film that though. But it was just funny to see him. But yeah, man. So yeah, in my I see people are following me on Instagram now. That's cool. Yeah, that's the stuff like I share like that's as much of my personal life as I'm willing to share. Gets shared there, like exercise and you know, Clubber and Clubber loves, things like that. That's the stuff. And Team Brittany, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I haven't done it in a minute, so it's gonna happen, folks. It's gotta happen.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Team Brittany being a smart ass talking about Clubber chew toys that are not water bottles. Yeah, listen, okay? He just finds the water bottles, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he has chew toys and he just chooses the stuff that's noisy. And I really can't really do anything about that. But thank you anyway. Appreciate it, Team Brittany, as always. So now we're going to talk a little bit about and it's great to see you guys again. I have not seen you guys in a couple of days, I know. But it's great to be live and hanging out with you guys as always. So thank you for being here. And what we're going to do today is tomorrow is a hearing set for apparently a civil action taken against the Canton Police Department by members of the Canton Nine, based on what happened on, I believe it was November 8th. And we're going to look back on that a little bit, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts. Thoughts of a layman. I am not an attorney. I am just going to throw out what common sense kind of dictates to me. But even still, when it comes to the law, that might even get shot down. So since we're not attorneys and court officers here, most of us in the chat, then common sense goes right out the window, because it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the law is and how the law works. Common sense means common, meaning we are the common people, and we're not attorneys. So, but I'm going to do my best to look it over and discuss it with you guys and see what we're at as far as that goes. Because do I absolutely feel like, in theory, that they have a right to take some action against the Canton PD? Absolutely, 100%. I absolutely feel that way. And I feel actually very strongly about it because I think it needs to be addressed. And I think it needs to be whatever took place, which we already know what took place. Whatever took place, which we'll call, we don't want to use real names here, so we'll just refer to him as Ken Mello, called, and he sent in a kind of sick the dogs on these poor people who are simply exercising their First Amendment right. They were not bothering anybody. So we're going to get into some of that stuff. And Cherry is dropping the Canton 9 Defense Fund. And all the way at the bottom in my description, the link is also there if you want to donate to the Canton 9 Defense Fund. But this is not a criminal proceeding per se or at all. This is going to be a hearing on the civil allegations that members of the Canton 9 have made against the Canton Police Department, and I don't blame them for taking this kind of action. So I could screen share it, but I prefer not to because I'm going to try to leave everyone's names out. I'm going to make a conscious effort to leave everyone's names out because I've read these court documents before with an attempt to do that. This is not redacted, and I will make the attempt, but I have been known to slip, unfortunately. So I apologize in advance if I do. I mean, it's not exactly doxing anybody because this is public record. I mean, if Cherry could get this document from Ireland, then anybody here could get it. So now, it says here, 2 days ago on November 8th, 2023, the plaintiffs, members of the Canton 9, filed this lawsuit against defendants Canton Police Department, Town of Canton, Helena Rafferty. Oops, Jesus Christ. Now, okay. I think those are the defendants, okay? I'm still going to try to leave them out of it if I can. I said Helena, whatever. Alleging retaliation as to the exercise of their First Amendment rights under 42 U.S.C. 1983, count 1, and a declaratory judgment regarding the unconstitutionality of Massachusetts General 1, 268, 13A, 13B. See, now this is very important. Now, if you remember that law, 268, 13A, and 13B, that is the law that was applied to lock up Turtle Boy or to charge Turtle Boy, and was also the law used to charge the Canton 9. This being the law that you always hear me saying is unconstitutional. This is a big deal. This civil suit is a big deal because whether or not they win this or not, at least this is just me speaking in theory. I don't know, but it feels like it's a good thing that it's on record and there's a court proceeding that's actually going to address the lack of the unconstitutionality, as it were, as it's stated here, of this law. So the people, again, leaving it up to the people, they are standing up and speaking up. And this is very, very important that they're doing this. Because like I said, they are targeting that law and pointing out in this lawsuit that law is unconstitutional. And it's very important. The witness intimidation statute, facially and as applied to plaintiffs, on the same day, plaintiffs moved on an emergency basis for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction concerning a planned protest on Sunday, November 12th, 2023. Given the timing of the request after counsel for defendants filed a notice of appearance yesterday, D9 and 10, the court set an expedited schedule for a response to the motion of defendants, which defendants have now filed D12. Having considered the parties' filings and the reasons stated below, the court denies plaintiffs' motion for injunctive relief. So this is the court. This is basically the court just denying everything. I mean, it sounds like. In deciding, this is the court's response to a motion made by the plaintiffs, made by members of the Canton Nine, as I'm understanding it here. In deciding plaintiffs' motion for injunctive relief, whether framed or as a motion for a temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction, the court must consider 4 factors. 1, the movant, likelihood of success on the merits of their claims. 2, whether and to what extent the movant will suffer irreparable harm if the injunction is withheld. 3, the balance of hardships as between the parties, and 4, the effect, if any, that an injunction or the withholding of one may have on the public interest. So they have to figure out basically if this filing, if this motion, if the court grants this motion, they have to consider those 4 things. And I'll read those one more time. Excuse me. The court must consider 4 factors. 1, the movant or movant's likelihood of success on the merits of their claims. Okay, so just whether or not is there even a likelihood of success on their initial claims. I'm assuming as to the reason why they're even in court. 2, whether and to what extent the movant or movants will suffer irreparable harm if the injunction is withheld. So the judge has to consider whether or not it's going to hurt them irreparably if the court does not grant the motion. 3, the balance of hardships as between the parties. The balance of hardships, how it's going to affect, I guess, negatively. Balance of how it's going to affect negatively either party, and 4, the effect, if any, that an injunction or the withholding of one may have on the public interest, whether or not it's going to affect the public. So that stuff is important. Team Brittany just gifted 5 memberships. Sorry, I can't really see chat. It just caught the corner of my eye there, but I'm going to read off. Let's see. Hurt Locker 66, welcome. Along with Spacey Stacy, Mindy, Becca J, Just Christine, Trixie, and Finn. Welcome, and thank you again, Team Brittany. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Dude, it sounds like it's an injunction. If you got time, bro, I'll send you a link and you can help me with this. I'll even send you a link to what I'm looking at right here. Let me actually do that anyway. I'm going to send you a link to what I'm reading so you can take a look. And if you can hang out and chat or even come up here, even better, then this will be very helpful to me because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about and what I'm reading. So okay. There's that. And okay, there's the link to the actual document. And here's the link to the stream. Hold on a second. There we go. And Team Brittany gift. Hold on. Buzzing for Truth. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Team Brittany gifted 5 more memberships. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. Let's see who got memberships. Chrissy Twig, Life Love, Lauren TZY, not Mary Lopez, but hi, Mary Lopez, Kim O'Brien, Stacy O. Congrats, guys. Thank you so much, Team Brittany. Again, appreciate that. That's awesome. You are amazing. Now, Buzzing for Truth, you make my day too. Now I'm going to go on to continue reading. I can't see the chat once I'm reading this, so I apologize for that. Let's see. Now, they cite a few other cases, Cortex Incorporated versus Harnett, Russ Simmons of Warwick Incorporated versus Baccarat Music Company, or Latin American Music Company versus Cardenas Fernandez y Asociados. I don't even know if that's how you say associates. My Spanish is terrible. The four-factor test for preliminary injunctions applies to temporary restraining orders. The movement bears the burden of establishing that these four factors weigh in its favor. Blah, blah, blah. Let's keep it going. And the court must bear in mind that the issuance of any preliminary injunctive relief is an extraordinary and drastic remedy. Since likelihood of success on the merits is the main bearing wall of this framework, citing the Ross Simmons and the Rodriguez Miranda case, the court begins its analysis below with this factor. Factual background. The following factual allegations. Let me see. I have to keep checking once in a while to make sure. Okay, he's reading it now. Good. The following factual allegations are drawn from plaintiff's verified complaint and the exhibits attached thereto. Plaintiffs are private citizens who believe that the defendant in a pending state criminal proceeding, Karen Reed, has been framed for the death of her romantic partner, John O'Keefe, by various residents of the town of Canton. The town, Reed's criminal trial is scheduled for March 2024. I love how it fails to mention that John O'Keefe is a police officer, but okay. And plaintiffs report widespread public interest in her prosecution. Various members of the public who believe in Reed's innocence have staged public demonstrations in her support. During an August 8th, 2023 meeting of the town select board, Police Chief Helena Rafferty referred to events that made residents of our community feel disrespected, targeted, and intimidated. Rafferty stated that she respects everyone's right to voice viewpoints under the First Amendment, but cannot accept witnesses. These are residents who have not been charged with any crimes, being bullied in their homes, at their children's games, or on vacation, all under the guise of the First Amendment. Okay. Now, what's interesting about that is, before I continue, I can see chat for the moment. Before I continue, what's interesting about that is that has nothing to do with the Canton 9. The Canton 9 were simply charged for standing across the street from D&E Pizza, quietly holding signs, wearing T-shirts, nothing more. So it's very interesting to me that they're bringing this up when, if it applies to anybody, it would apply to Turtle Boy. But I don't think it does because, like I said, I went over his charges and I showed how those were absolutely twisted and absolutely exploited in order to just slap cuffs on him or put him through the ringer, as it were. So it's very interesting to me that she's going to use the stuff that they are falsely accusing Turtle Boy of against the Canton 9. But the thing is Turtle Boy did things that could be, I guess, perceived that way by someone who just isn't actually paying attention, someone who actually doesn't really give much of a fuck about their own First Amendment rights. So you could perceive it that way, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's whatever Turtle Boy did is still protected under the First Amendment. I mean, too many people are stating so. So I just don't get what how this stuff even applies to the Canton Nine when they didn't do anything that even resembles that. All they did was hold up signs, stand on a public street across the street from his private business, and express themselves with T-shirts and signs. Tasteful ones at that. On November 5th, 2023, plaintiffs participated in a protest in front of a business in Canton owned by a town selectman, Chris Albert, who allegedly saw Reed and O'Keefe the night of Keefe's death. Also alleged by plaintiffs, Albert is a family member of individuals whom Reed supporters believe were involved in covering up O'Keefe's murder and framing Reed. Albert is also himself a potential witness in the case. Potential, but he's not a witness. Okay? Now there's nothing, there's nothing in that law, if I can recall correctly, there's nothing in that law that says anything about potential witnesses, because if it does, it's even less constitutional than I thought, because everyone is a potential witness. I mean, who's not a potential witness in a case? I mean, who knows? Who knows what the defense is going to come up with? Who knows what the prosecution is going to come up with? Anybody who lives in the area is a potential witness to the case. So how are you supposed to not protest with something so vague? It's vague enough as it is, but if it even says potential witnesses in this chapter 28, 13A, 13B, is that what it is? Let me see there. Yeah, 268. Sorry, 13A and 13B. If this law says, I don't have it in front of me, but if this law says potential witnesses, then how does that exclude anyone? Oh my goodness. Making law simple. What's going on, Dave? It's good to see you, buddy.
Hey, how we doing? Can you hear me okay?
Doing great. Thanks again. Second time you come up here on super short notice, even shorter notice this time. But yes, I can hear you.
Well, I was reading it. I was listening to you, and then I was reading the memorandum and order that you had sent over. And yeah, so I didn't know if you had any specific questions, but I will say this. This is a memorandum and order on a preliminary injunction or a temporary restraining order. So they're very hard to get, right? The court is going to give a lot of deference to not issuing one, and it's very preliminary. So this might not be the ultimate conclusion that the court makes, even with regard to the likely merits of the case and that sort of analysis.
This is very interesting that you're saying this. If I'm hearing you correctly, and if I am hearing you correctly, then I'm not the only person here asking this question in my head. So you're saying that it's incredibly difficult to actually get this restraining order, right?
Yes. Now, it's my understanding too. It looks like this is for a temporary restraining order.
Okay.
TRO. Okay. And so here's the other thing too. Now, and I'm looking at the introduction. So when this lawsuit was filed, they alleged certain counts. I don't know how many total counts. Count 2 at least. So it looks like at least 2 counts. Also, a request that there be a temporary restraining order put in, which means temporarily, while the case is pending, allow us to do our protests and stop all this nonsense from the city.
Okay.
It is ex parte, meaning the other side does not have an opportunity generally to respond. So there's even more deference to not granting it when it's ex parte.
Oh my God. Okay, I know that I'm thinking the same thing that a lot of people in the chat are, because right now Turtle Boy's in jail for supposedly violating a temporary restraining order that there's no way he could have known about it, A, and B, they're saying that it's super easy. The people that are trying to explain and play devil's advocate, who are even against Turtle Boy being arrested, they're saying the thing you got to understand, Will, is it's super easy in Canton to get
it's a different order. Okay. So in the federal lawsuit, the case that you're reading, It's extremely difficult to get a TRO when the other party's not involved. When you're talking about a domestic temporary restraining order or a personal protection order, what we call it, between two parties, those are very easy to get on a temporary basis and then have a hearing because of the nature
someone's
of the default,
victimizing.
right?
Right.
Because
the
the
person's
court's going to
directly
be
in
like,
physical,
okay,
a person directly in physical danger is more likely to get that passed through just for their protection, just to be sure, just to be safe. That makes perfect sense.
And a typical example that we study in law school is if you have somebody trespassing on your property and they're going to cut down a 100-year-old forest, the court's going to be more likely to grant the TRO because it's going to take 100 years to grow that forest back, as opposed to someone who's going to trespass on your property and then go fishing on your lake or something, where it's a lot easier to recover the damages, right? Or the damages are minimal. So it depends on the facts and circumstances. And when you're talking about physical abuse, it's easier for the court to say, you know what, we're going to grant the TRO and then we'll hear everybody out later. Or as opposed to this, where we're going to be like, well, there could be an argument, there could not be an argument. We're going to err on the side of caution and say, no, everything that's going on, you guys just have it stand. We're not going to issue this TRO, and then we'll sort it out later. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
That's essentially what the court's
and it actually emphasizes on those 4 factors that was listed by the court in that document. So that makes a lot of
likely
sense.
outcome, success on the merits, any unrecoverable damage. I forget exactly how they lay it out, but
losing your internet there.
Is you can't reap a 100-year-old tree. The 100-year-old tree is gone. So irreparable harm. That's the other thing.
Okay. Yeah. And it says that basically, and how that's going to affect either party. And you're frozen right now. While you're frozen, let me address these gifted memberships. Team Brittany gifted 10 more memberships. That's crazy. Thank you.
All right, we should be good now. Sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. Colleen Forth, Misfits 21, Kim Kusick, Kelly Hill, Nancy EMR, Kim W, Shauna Martz, Just Chrissy the Crone, Team Brittany gifted herself one. How about that? Good for you. I'm glad you got one too. So thank you, Team Brittany. I appreciate that. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah. And so when you look, I just pulled up the 4 factors. Yeah. So one, the movement's likely success on the merits, whether or not they'll be suffer any irreparable harm. Again, go to the tree analogy. The balance of the hardship between the parties. How easy is it for the parties to just like stay where they are, or if I issue this temporary order, what sort of hassles are going to be involved, and the balance of those, or not the balance of those hardships, and the effect, if any, on the injunction or withholding of any may have on public interest. So you look at those, and it's just temporary. It's just right now. It's a quick look at it, one-sided, and that's the assessment that's done.
Okay. So I could go on reading. Are you familiar with what's going on here and what this case is about?
Okay, no, I just heard you struggling a little bit with that. And when you were reading it, I was like, this sounds like a TRO. So that's all. And then you sent me a link. So I figured I'd pop on and see if you had any quick questions. But I know nothing about this case. I haven't read it at all.
Yeah, there's a hearing tomorrow.
I noticed it's from November.
Yeah, there's a hearing tomorrow. Here, if you got a minute or two, sure. I can let me play you this real quick. This is the incident in which it took place. So basically, I'll break it down for you. You've got 9 people standing across the street from D&E Pizza, Chris Albert's pizza shop.
I know the video. I saw my channel as well. I know that video. So this is the Canton 9 lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Very cool.
I'm going to go over that video anyway, so I don't have to do it now. But you seem like you're pressed for time, so I'll try to get through this pretty quick as far as having you up here goes. But there's also now what turned out to happen was they, or at least certain members of the Canton 9, filed a lawsuit almost immediately after the incident. So they were all charged. None of them went to jail, but they were all charged. And so they almost immediately filed a lawsuit. But an interesting factor that took place here, since the lawsuit was filed, it came to light because this lawsuit is against the Canton Police Department. Okay. But it came to light recently that Ken Mello, a recorded phone call, and I'm going to play that phone call, but Ken Mello actually called the Canton PD. He is the special prosecutor that is prosecuting Turtle Boy right now. So the fact that he was the one that made them, the Canton PD, aware, this was not public knowledge yet when they filed this lawsuit. So this came out later. So this is where I'm worried, because I'm starting, I wasn't going to make this point until later, but what my concern is this lawsuit directed to the wrong place? Are they targeting the wrong defendants here? Is the Canton PD, is the fact that Ken Mello being the person who called them and almost, pressured them, I'm going to play the phone call, but almost pressured them into going over there, is that going to affect their lawsuit against the Canton PD? And what could we more or less expect tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like it should. Also, they have the opportunity to amend their lawsuit. So this was filed in November. It's now January, but they have newly discovered information. They would be able to file leave for to amend their complaint and add additional defendants, or just sue them in a separate lawsuit as well, should that be necessary. But the police are the ones that came over and shut them down and threatened them, and ultimately, well, they didn't charge them or arrest them. Right?
Well, they didn't put them in handcuffs and take them to jail, but they had like a promise to appear type thing.
Yeah, and that's on the police. And I'm starting to understand in Massachusetts proceedings a little bit more. So the police basically issue a citation and say, show up. And then the court has to determine whether or not there's enough there. So the police are almost the charging agents, aren't they?
Well, yeah, it was them, but here, let me go ahead and play this for you so that you get a better context of what we know about this case at this point.
Is that all we have? Who would you like to speak with, sir? My name is Ken Mello. I'm a prosecutor with the Norfolk DA's office. Can I speak to your shift commander?
Well, I'm on duty right now. We have a lieutenant too, but how can I help you?
Okay. There's a protest going on outside B&E. Would you mind sending a car down there just to make sure that they're
we'll take a look.
Not intimidating you?
And what's your name again?
Now, just for context, real quick, just for context, D&E Pizza is owned by Chris Albert. So Chris Albert also sits on the Canton Select Board, which I'm sure you already know. So Chris Albert sits on the Canton Select Board. So basically, he flexed his political muscles, called this guy, and then this is this guy getting shit done under the, because how else would he know about
That's what I was going to say. I bet there's a phone call from Chris to him.
Exactly. There's
and I would love to get access to that. What's the hearing tomorrow? Do you know what the title is? What the motion is?
Yes. Give me 1 second. I can get it. Hold on.
And this is in U.S. District Court, so it's not going to be televised.
No. It looks like
I'm wondering.
123 CV. Hold on. I can 12685. So 2:30 p.m. And yeah, that's what it says here. Judge
It
Denise
doesn't say what type
Casper.
of motion it is.
Canton Police Department, ETAL. No, hold on. I think I have what. I think I still have something though. That says that.
Well, while you're looking for it, what I'm thinking is so when there's a lawsuit filed, the other side has to file an answer or some sort of response. What their response could be is a motion to dismiss. And that's why we would have a hearing so soon. Because normally we
Okay.
wouldn't have a hearing this quickly. In a lawsuit that was filed in November, you would never be in front of the judge this quickly, especially in federal court. Unless there was a motion filed, there's no like general housekeeping hearing or anything like that. That's not what's happening this quickly. It could be because this issue or the TRO was denied. Maybe it was either a motion for a preliminary injunction, which is like a TRO, except the other side had an opportunity to respond, and then you have a
Right.
hearing, or because of the timing, right? They essentially have a month and a half to file an answer. Maybe instead of filing an answer to the complaint, which just says deny, 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 they file the motion to dismiss, and that could be up for tomorrow. I'd be more concerned about a motion to dismiss than I
Right.
would for a restraining order hearing, because if you lose the restraining order hearing, fine, the case continues. If you lose
I
the
think,
motion to
yeah, I
dismiss,
think
then the
I
case
think
is
what
done.
I sent you was just that. That was just the motion. What I just sent you just now, I just sent you something else. And I think that's the actual case itself. So
Let's take a look here. Well, that's the opinion from that's the opinion from the TRO request. Let me see
okay.
if I can pull this up on Pacer and see what it has to say, because that's what I would be concerned about, a motion to dismiss. Not that it would get granted, but if it is granted, then there's no opportunity for discovery. Then they can't say, hey, turn over your cell phone records. That's kind of what I was getting.
Right. Yeah, and you can't, and this phone call is going to be pointless, useless.
Yeah,
My name is Attorney Ken Mello.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Let me run this query here.
Wow, Team Brittany's gifting a lot of memberships. Thank you, Team Brittany. That's awesome. Ruth Hurdle, Began Easton, McRamey, Scott, and B Legend. Right on. And I know she's gifted some before too. Diana, Dave's channel, SA, Lady D12, Richard S. Right on. Thank you so much, Team Brittany. Appreciate that.
Wait, what is this?
Yes,
this
Scott.
The case you sent me?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, I scared me for a second because all of a sudden I was looking at habeas petitions and motion to dismiss. I have the wrong court. So hang on. I got to run this again with the right court.
Yikes.
All right, let me start over.
And make sure, guys, to subscribe to Making Law Simple. That's Dave's channel. And we definitely need that. My community definitely needs law made simple. So make sure to subscribe to Making Law Simple, guys. It was very kind of him to join up here on such short notice, even shorter notice than last time, which is kind of crazy. Team Brittany, you're
I'm
going
available.
crazy.
I'd like to help out.
Team Brittany's Care Bear, M, Heidi, Clipper Chick, Angel Chips Delco. Congrats, guys. Thank you again, Team Brittany. Appreciate that.
I don't like this. For every district, the system is set up different.
Okay.
Let me search the freaking cases. I can pull this up. Ooh, next gen is here. All right.
All right. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play the call. I don't know if you can multitask or not, but you can kind of hear for yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I'll listen away.
All right, I'll start it over here.
Is that what you have? Who would you like to speak with, sir? My name is Ken Mello. I'm a prosecutor with the Norfolk DA's office. Can I speak to your shift commander?
Well, I'm on duty right now. We have a lieutenant too, but how can I help you?
Okay. There's a protest going on outside B&E. Would you mind sending a car down there just to make sure that
we'll take a look.
Not intimidating?
And what's your name again?
My name is Attorney Ken Mello.
And who are you working for?
I'm the special prosecutor.
Okay.
Regarding Aiden Kearney.
Got. All right. So the prosecutor, you said there's people outside B&E.
Right.
Okay. We'll
just have a cruise go by, make sure there's nothing.
We'll check it out.
Oh, thank you very much.
Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Roger. Hey, Mike. I got a call from Kenneth Mello. He's the special prosecutor. I guess. 686 has that. Let me know. Anyways, there's some protesters out in front of D&E, so Zeph is going to take a drive-by. Yeah, they can protest. I know, we're just going to take a drive-by.
You hear that?
The attorney's voice, we just be sure we stop by, take a
So
look.
the cops don't even want to do anything right here. Like, you hear the cops that are like, but this is the cops talking amongst each other. They're like, yeah, like, well, they can protest. They're not even aware of this chapter 268, 13A, 13B law. They're not even aware of it.
Is.
You're right. Exactly. So it's fascinating. Team Brittany gifted 5 more memberships. Carolyn Elizabeth, Julie Albert shops at Kohl's. Lorena Jenkinson, Buzz Lightyear, Marie Monopoly. Congrats, guys. Thank you again. Jesus, Team Brittany, you're going crazy out there. So yeah, this is very fascinating to me because
I sent you a link back at you via X. Let me know if you're able to access that, because this is the entire docket through the Pacer system, and you can pull up every document in this federal case.
Oh, I would have to put in a username and password.
Deal. Okay. So let me just let me download what I can.
So what did you get from what it is? What are they exactly suing for?
So you don't have the complaint either, huh?
No,
me,
no. I thought.
Let me download it and I'll send it out to you.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Oh, look. Yeah. So, all right. I got you. Bye bye.
Slops.
Hi, Mr. Mello. It's Sergeant Silvesi. I just spoke to you. Oh, 1 second.
Yes, sir.
1 second, sir. Roger. An officer swing by. I said there's 4 people like across the street holding signs. They weren't right in front. They were across the street. They're not keeping traffic, but so it seems kind of mellow. It's a small group now.
All right. Okay. Very good. If they could just swing by there once in a while, I'd
we'll keep on making passes. You know.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it,
sir. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Canton police
and he's got the sergeant in charge sounds like he views Ken Mello as somewhat of a position, being in a position of authority. No, the way he's speaking to him.
I love how they didn't know who he was at first. That was just
right.
Like, who
and,
is this?
Right, and then he's just kind of like, you know, I mean, he's saying "sir," but that could just be because he's polite, you know. But
I think it's more
like,
police being polite.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say, like, if I had to question that, I just think out loud as to what people might be thinking, and then I address it. But yeah, I'm not getting necessarily the vibe that they feel intimidated by him in any way, but possibly in a position of possible authority, maybe. But at the same time, I mean, you couldn't prove that it could just be a cop being polite, you know.
So, Officer, next recorded line.
Hi, Officer Nix. This is Attorney Ken Mello. I believe I just
stated it's a recorded line.
Spoke with your sergeant there. Is he still available?
He's not. He just stepped out. Actually, he's walking back in the room, sir. Hold on. Let me put you on hold and I'll have him pick up, okay?
Thanks very much.
You're welcome, sir.
How can I help you?
Hi, Sergeant Ken Mello again.
No problem.
Do me a favor. Take a look at Chapter 268, Section 13A.
There you go.
268.
13A. Do me a favor. Take a look at Chapter 268, Section 13A.
Okay, now those are that's the exact law that Turtle Boy is charged under and what the Canton 9 are charged under. Now, it's funny because he just wasn't satisfied with them saying, okay, we're going to drive by a couple times and make sure everything's cool. Basically, the cops were already on it saying, hey, we're just going to make sure nobody's doing nothing, but if they're out there protesting, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It's America, right? But then this guy, he sounds satisfied with that when he hangs up the phone. But then there's this next phone call where he's like, do me a favor and take a look at this particular law. So he clearly has the intention of having them arrested. Clearly. I mean,
well, he wants to for sure.
Right.
268.
13A.
Okay. I'll go ahead and get a book. Oh, 1 second, sir.
Okay. You give me a call back if you want, okay?
Okay, yes, sir, Mr. Mello. All right.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Mello, it's Sergeant Solacey. So it looked up. So what do you want? What are you thinking of doing?
I think we're good enough to charge him, to be honest with you, or at least this person.
Wow.
I mean, that's my take on it, but it looks like they meet every single requirement of that statute.
Okay, so we just go up there. You want us to write a report and try to document who's there?
Yeah, if you could do that, yeah, please, if you can do that. I mean, I check with your lieutenant. I don't want to, I'm not an officer in your department, but I'm looking at that statute and saying they're across the street. They're certainly near Albert's place.
All right.
He's a witness, and they're certainly there for purposes of influencing or whatever else the statute states.
I also find it interesting that he even acknowledges he's the one who points out that they're across the street. They're not even right in front. They're not obstructing anything.
They're not there for any other reason.
All right. So it's punishable by no more than a year in prison and a fine of no more than $5,000. So,
correct.
All right. So we can go up there. We can try to figure out. I mean, I think we could probably figure out a couple of them. Maybe not all of them where they are, because we can ask them and they can just tell us, pound sand, not tell them. And we try to find them, see where cars they go to or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I guess.
I mean,
they're not certain what they could do with this. That's clear.
But it's clear that the intention is to take them to jail or to arrest them, to charge them, not take them to jail, but to charge them, right? It's clear that the intention is that, and almost like that officer could even be being passive aggressive, going, okay, so no more than a year in jail and no more than this much of amount to, of a fine, kind of like, are you sure you want us to fucking do this? But like, he seems absolutely hesitant, but this guy's like, charge him. Why not just charge him? This is what I want.
So I have a memorandum in law in support of plaintiff's emergency motion for TRO. I have the complaint. I have a dismissal against one plaintiff. I have a notice of appeal and a bunch of other stuff. I also have the scheduling order for this, and it sounds like this might just be a scheduling conference. It's just when we appear with the judge and then we set out dates for things. So that might be what's coming up in this federal case. But I have all this. I just need to get it to you, and I can't get it to you through X. So if you want to give me an email, I can send you an email. No, are you muted or am I?
I'm muted. Let me give you.
Okay.
Send you.
So, but it looks like the only thing that could be coming up would be January 2nd. Originally, there was a scheduling conference, and that easily could have been moved. but I don't see anything else coming up. So that's what I'm assuming it might be, because there's no motions that have been filed to dismiss or anything like that. So it makes the most sense that they moved it a couple of weeks. You moved the scheduling conference a couple of weeks. There was a joint submission, which is typical. The parties submit sort of stipulated facts and facts in dispute. That was submitted on January 2nd. And so maybe this is the time then that we sit down with the judge and just basically like, okay, so this is kind of our outline of the case. This is what time we think we need. I think that's what's happening.
Okay.
All right, I was going to do an email here real quick with all this.
We can go from there and just and
sure. I mean, I don't know if you can reach your chief to see how she feels about it, or I mean, okay, great. I appreciate it very much, Sergeant.
No problem, sir.
Thanks. Bye.
I mean, dude. So he's like, even in there, it's quoted that the chief has already kind of given a veiled threat at the town meeting about people protesting. So he's implying, it sounds to me like he's implying, hey, I don't know if you want to get in contact with your chief and see how she feels about it, blah, 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 blah. It just seems like an abuse of power to me, most definitely. But
well, it sounds like the police don't even really know what this is, don't know what to do with it. And once he says that he's the Turtle Boy prosecutor, they're like, oh, okay. So they give him a little more deference. They look up the statute. And they're like, well, I guess, we could do something
right.
like this.
Right. I didn't see any real enthusiasm coming from whoever was representing the police department at that time and not on that phone call. It was weird. I've gone over that phone call a couple of times, but never in the context of there being a lawsuit. And again, that's why I was worried about it. I was like, okay, this lawsuit was filed on the 10th of November. And this phone call became public information, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't hear about that at all. Is there a hearing on the criminal case tomorrow, or is it just this federal case?
It's just this civil case. But I'm still hazy as to what they're suing for.
So you got the complaint. I just sent you an email with 12 documents. So the documents entitled 1, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, those are all the first filings. That's the complaint. And so in the federal system, if you download a series of documents that are contained within a filing, they're numbered. And so like document 5 is all about the memorandum in support of the emergency motion for TRO. We have the emergency motion for temporary restraining order. We have the, I didn't download like all the notices to appear and stuff like that. But I gave you the answer to the complaint. So the defendant's answer. I gave you the notice of scheduling conference, which talks originally about at 2:15 p.m. on January 12th in courtroom 11, or January 12th, January 2nd, which that's what I imagine was moved now to the 15th. And then I gave you a notice of appeal, memorandum and order of appeal. I got to get that one. So you should have all that stuff, and then you can get a better idea of what the actual complaint is arguing.
Okay.
So what they are appealing. So there is an appeal going forward to the Court of Appeals regarding the memorandum and order that you
who's appealing?
Were just going over. The plaintiffs.
Okay.
The plaintiffs are appealing because it was denied. And so now they're saying, okay, no, we're going to go to the Court of Appeals. We think this should be granted. Now, this is just a notice of intent to file an appeal. This isn't actually the appeal. You'd have to go to the Court of Appeals and grab that document, which I don't have. Right now, I don't know the case number. But so they're filing an appeal filed by Jessica, Meredith, Nick, Roberto. Basically, all the plaintiffs are filing this appeal,
Okay.
and it's an appeal of the denial of the TRO. And then the last thing that I sent you is the joint submission pursuant to 16.1, which is basically both sides have to get together and cooperate and put together a statement of facts and sort of like that, an outline of the case, and submit that. That was submitted on the 2nd, and they're probably going to have a conversation about that. Oh yeah, okay. Notice scheduling conference set. Okay, yeah. So it's a scheduling conference is set for tomorrow, the 16th at 2:30 p.m. Courtroom 11. So it's literally they're just going to talk about like how long do you need for discovery? Who do we have for mediation? Who is whatever, things like that. It's just the court's going to want to be like, all right, where are you guys on
This
this?
is the
How much discovery do you-
this is the early stages of a civil suit where basically the court is basically trying to find, okay, before this even gets to a trial, let's see if we could find some way to appease everybody here before it even gets to that point.
And the court just wants to be informed too. They want to know what's going on in their cases so they can make a notation like, all right, these parties said that they're going to conduct approximately 11 depositions, so they need approximately 6 months to do that. I'm going to set up a scheduling conference again in 6 months down the road with the magistrate, and we'll see where they are. And hopefully, and if they haven't done anything, then I'm going to be on top of them or dismiss the case for lack of prosecution or whatever. So that's kind of what the court's doing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a question though, as far as there was one member of that group who was a minor, and he had a court date separate from everybody else because he was a minor, he was underage, and his charges were dropped. He's good to go. Now, would he, even though his charges have been dropped, would he still have grounds for a suit? I don't know. I don't even know if he's involved in this suit or not. But I'm curious, just generally speaking, would he still have grounds for a suit, even if would you be able to answer that even?
I don't see that he's part of this.
Looking at
first of all,
case.
I'm just looking here at the first page of the complaint. I don't see that he is a part of the lawsuit, only in that I don't know his name, but usually it would be initials, like care of his parents kind of thing. And I don't see that anywhere in the caption, so I don't think he's part of it. But yes, his rights were infringed upon. It doesn't matter that they later dropped the charges, in my opinion. Now, the court could say that it's moot because they dropped the charges. Although I would argue that mootness doesn't apply because there's nothing preventing them from doing it again, essentially. So voluntary cessation of the wrongful act doesn't always make the matter moot if it's likely that the defendant could reoffend, do it again. So MLS is saying he's not a part of the lawsuit. It doesn't look like he's part of the lawsuit, Pink Lady. But there could be.
Because that answers my question. Because, tomorrow they could drop the charges against all of them. You know what I mean? But
we had the issue when we sued the governor over the vid mandates back in April of 2020, and then they modified their orders, and 7 of the 9 things that we were suing over were done with, and they argued that it was moot. And I said, but they could do it again, and they've told us that they're going to do it again. And here's this, new statement. Here's this new statement. Here's this new statement. And we're like, so just because they voluntarily stopped doing the bad thing, if they're still in a position to do it and they're likely to do it again, it doesn't make it moot. So
because
so
that's the thing is, all of these people. I think it's safe to assume when they say things like "we ain't got no quit," they mean that shit, and they plan on going out there. Karen Reed still has a trial coming up if it still goes to trial, but so far
in the trial, they've dug themselves too much in a hole. They can't back away. Unfortunately, the state is not going to back away. But there's so much of
but
their worst,
they'll be
their
there
own worst enemy.
protesting is the point. You know what I mean? So they're
Oh, yeah.
subject. Every single person after this set a precedence. So this set a precedent in the sense that Turtle Boy's already been arrested, charged with that crime, and these 9 people were charged with this. So anytime anybody goes out there to protest in front of the courthouse and one of these potential witnesses walks by, then they could be charged. Anybody could be charged again.
Just don't
Anybody who
get
hasn't
how
been
this is
charged yet.
constitutional. I can't believe this has never been challenged before. Probably because it's one of those laws
Right.
on the books that nobody thought to enforce against people protesting. You know,
Right.
so I think the generic language, I didn't look at the history of this law, but the generic language protesting.
I was trying to find out.
I
I couldn't find out. I was trying to find out when this law was established. I think somebody found out, and it was like 2000. I think it was like 2000.
Really? 2000
something or
I was thinking,
yeah,
I was thinking like
recent.
the 1800s. The protests.
That's what I thought.
Some BS like this.
That's what inspired me to want to find out, was because I was like, this has to be some law, like
antiquated terminology that we don't use it in that way anymore. You can't be, bullying a judge, slapping him around. We call that protesting a judge. That kind of thing, as opposed to literally protesting as we know it today. That's what I thought. It was a really old law, but I guess maybe not. I don't know. But this thing definitely needs to be challenged, and I can't believe it is constitutional.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what Bradle's fighting, which is Turtle Boy's attorney. And this was listed in that document.
All the cases I looked up, by the way, when Aiden was first charged, and I was going through some of the procedures or some of the case law in the past, all of them applied to like straight up legitimately threatening a witness or threatening a member of the jury by the defendant or the defendant's family. None of them applied to protests. None of them. And the ones that were sort of ancillary, there were some involving news reporters, but it wasn't protesting. It was like coverage of the proceedings, talking about the proceedings, sort of after the fact or in concert with, but none of them involved protests in any way, shape, or form. I don't know that this case or this law has ever been applied to straight up protesters that weren't themselves interested in the case. Right? Like the Canton Nine are not interested in Karen Reed's case, nor Turtle Boy's case. So this is the first time that I've seen, and again, I'm not a Massachusetts attorney.
The Canton Nine, the Canton Nine are interested in both Karen Reed and Turtle Boy's case, but
no, I mean, what I mean by interested, they're not interested parties. They're not witnesses. They're not involved in somehow. They're just concerned citizens. And they're protesting.
Right.
Yeah. I've never seen it applied to anybody like that.
It's crazy. Like it's Twilight Zone shit, because the law itself is a direct violation of, like, if you Google the First Amendment, that you shall not make a law that infringes on their rights. So it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, how is this? And they're just throwing it around. And the fact that even the cops were like, I don't like that. They didn't say that, but you could tell that they were kind of standoffish about the whole idea. It made them feel icky. You could tell. So
they didn't sound like they wanted to. That's for sure.
Right. So I mean, to me, it just seems like if they're gonna apply a law that is this obscure, it seems very much like as though they're weaponizing this law in order to shut people up. Like, why would I not think that? Considering how obscure the law is, and considering that it's not applied almost ever, then why wouldn't I think that this is exactly to shut up people who are voicing their opinions on a case that's very public, where the question is whether or not there is misconduct at the very least, if not corruption.
Yeah, no, exactly. But hey, my laptop's got to die. I need to jump off. I didn't know if you had any other quick questions for me.
No, that you were incredibly helpful. I'm going to look over
hopefully those cases, those documents I sent you help. If you didn't get them or something, let me know.
No, I got them. I just don't know what order they're in or anything like that.
So one is the complaint.
Okay.
So one is the complaint. If you wanted to pull that up, you can see what exactly the complaint is. 1-1 is the Exhibit 1 from the complaint, or Exhibit A from the complaint. 1-2, I think, is probably Exhibit B from the complaint. Yeah.
Okay,
One
yeah,
dash
it's
three.
page 1 of 15. So they're in the order that I mean, I can read them in order if need be, and I'll
Yeah,
forward
page
these to
5,
Sherry as
or
well.
the document entitled 5 is a memorandum of law. So it's basically the legal arguments for the injunction
Okay.
that they sought. And then the other pages, I don't know why the numbers got all screwed up, but it's the emergency motion for temporary restraining order. It's just the motion. It's not. So here's the other thing too. When you file a motion, you say a motion is essentially asking the court to do something. And you want to lay out some facts, a little bit of the law, but basically justify it in some way. And then you do the memorandum or the brief in support of that, which cites all the legal stuff, and you do your legal analysis. So that's how those two things work together. And then I gave you the notice of appeal and a few other things. But if you want to go over the complaint to really see what the issue is, just go to page or document 1, and then that's the complaint.
Right on. Thank you. No, that's great. That's super helpful, man. And I really appreciate you jumping on again on such short notice. You were extremely helpful. It means a lot,
You
man.
have a
Thank
wonderful rest of your stream to everybody in chat. Take care.
And guys, make sure to subscribe to Making Law Simple. That's Dave.
There you go. All right. Take care, guys.
Hey, thanks, man.
Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. So let me go ahead and read. This is the complaint. So it says this case is about a police chief and her subordinates abusing their power and threatening plaintiffs with prosecution for their protest of an injustice. Plaintiffs believe that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is wrongly framing Karen Reed for the alleged murder of John O'Keefe based on a cover-up by crooked police officers. Patty K, thank you so much. I feel like when the cop went over the fines and the jail time, he was trying to show how absurd the statute is, and it went over Mello's head. Yeah, I think so too. I think he was kind of passive aggressively doing that, more or less. That's the vibe I got. So yeah, I agree with you, Patty K. Thank you so much. This goes on to say they were threatened with prosecution pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 268, 13A, during their November 5th, 2023 protest. The journalist who brought initial scrutiny to the prosecution of Reed has been charged under the related statute of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 268, 13B. Plaintiffs reasonably fear that if they proceed with the planned November 12th, 2023 protest and other similar such protests, defendants will arrest and prosecute them for violation of sections 13A and or 13B, despite such protests being protected under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. They request a temporary restraining order to permit planned November 12th, 2023 protest and other future protests to proceed until such time as the court can hear and determine the request for a preliminary injunction. Plaintiffs are not threatening any witnesses or related person and will not do so. They will not engage in the blocking, impeding, inhibiting, or in any other manner obstructing or interfering with access to, ingress into, and oh my God, aggress from any building or parking lot of the business they plan to protest. Compare Madsen versus Women's Health. Uploading such restrictions on protest activities near abortion clinics. Plaintiffs simply wish to engage in constitutionally protected speech and require this court's intervention. Okay, so what I'm getting out of that is very interesting. I'm getting no vibe that they're looking to get some sort of financial restitution. I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, I know. I don't apply these words because I have a very limited education. I get it. This is going to happen when I read legal documents, folks. I do apologize for that. Egress. Okay, thank you, Joseph Sands. So I'm not getting. I'm not getting the vibe at all that this is what they were looking for. It seems like they just did not want to be fucked with when they go and protest. They just simply want the court to protect their First Amendment rights. That's it. So, right. And I'm seeing Street Squirrel, I guess, is one of the Canton 9, and states we just wanted to protest without getting arrested. And I you have to love that, folks. You have to absolutely respect that so much. Again, as an American, I'm touched. As a patriot, I am touched and I'm inspired because there's nothing, there's not even the hint of any type of self-serving motive behind this lawsuit. There's absolutely nothing that I'm getting other than these people just want to be able to speak their mind because they believe in something. They believe that a woman is being charged under a horrible investigation, whether it be negligent, whether it be corrupt, whatever the case may be. They don't feel that this woman should be on trial. They don't feel that this woman, her life, Karen Read, should be hanging in the balance. And they feel so strongly about it that they just simply want to be able to show her support outside of the courtroom, make a little noise so that the rest of the country sees what's going on, parts of the world see what's going on, and educate people. That's all they seem to want to do. And they don't want to be fucked with doing it. I mean, I don't see anything nefarious about that in the slightest bit. And you have to be an asshole to think that there's something nefarious about that. Because even if Karen Read is guilty, even if they had no reason to believe, I want to make this abundantly clear. Even if the Canton 9 had no reason, none of us had any real reason to believe Karen Read is innocent, and there is a shit ton of evidence made public against her, even if we are collectively fucking stupid and can't fucking read documents, we still, every person here has their constitutional right to speak their opinion on it, regardless of the facts. It doesn't even matter if Karen Read is innocent or guilty. It doesn't matter that there's all this evidence to indicate that she's innocent. It doesn't matter. If these people still want to go out there and speak up, and if they want to hold up signs that say the sky is green, water's dry, if they want to do that, they have the right to do that without worrying about going to jail over it, without worrying about their livelihoods being fucked with, their family not being able to eat because they're locked up, because they have to pay a lawyer. So that tells me so much about them. It tells me so much about these people. because these people are like, the law is bullshit. This is right here. This is an example. If you're sitting there, like, people, actually, let me address the Commonwealth. Norfolk, Commonwealth, Norfolk County, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Let me address you directly, because what you're doing is only proving that there is something corrupt going on there. Because if you're reaching, you have a law that you know is unconstitutional, because nobody would ever apply it. The police, the Canton PD, felt uncomfortable in that phone call, even going into that. Like, shit. I got a whole vibe of, I mean, it's the law. What do you want us to do? Fuck. This sucks. But what do you want us to do? And you used the Canton PD as your foot soldiers to intimidate and bully innocent people. Innocent people. Those people were not harming anyone. They were standing across the street. Ken Mello, you acknowledged it yourself. These people were standing across the street, merely making their presence known. And Chris Albert couldn't handle that. So he flexed his muscles, his Canton Select Board politician muscles, made a phone call to a special prosecutor, Ken Mello, who then called the Canton Police Department and implied, make sure to check once you look into this statute, and if you still feel kind of weird about it, check with your chief of police and see how she feels about it. Because we already know how she feels about it, don't we? Because she expressed in that town meeting that these people were intimidating witnesses. What's interesting about this is we talk about a city divided, right? We talk about a commonwealth, a state divided, Massachusetts divided, but specifically Canton, right? The town of Canton divided. We talk about this. We say this all the time. People are pissed off about this. People who don't even want to touch this case. They don't even want to touch the John O'Keefe Karen Reed case because of the division that's taking place in Canton. But who drew that line? Because it's easy to say Turtle Boy did. Did he? I don't think that uncovering the truth about something, catching people in a position of power on numerous lies, and then making that public, I don't think that counts as causing a divide. I think that counts as him meeting his responsibilities as a journalist. That's exactly what a journalist is supposed to do, is inform the people. But when a chief of police attends a Canton Select Board meeting and sits there and gives a veiled threat as to if you engage in this behavior and do this and do this and do that, there's going to be a no tolerance for it because you're intimidating witnesses. Just because you say it out loud, it doesn't make it so. And when this person in a position of power and leadership as a chief of police makes this statement at a town select board meeting, well, then that is a veiled threat. And when you threaten people, and yes, you threatened the people of Canton, you made this threat, chief of police, you made this threat, and that divided the people. That made people over here go, well, fuck, I could go to jail for this. Well, I feel so strongly about this, I don't care. And then you had these other people over here that are like, Well, the police chief said so, so it must be the case. People who are afraid, people who don't really seem to understand that those people that are threatening you are civil servants. They work for you. They don't work for anybody else but you. You are the voters. You are the taxpayer. And so the town is divided of people who seem to feel uncomfortable about this no matter what. They say, don't rock the boat. We got it good here. It's nice. These people want to be shitty with certain things. I'll take it, as long as it doesn't disrupt my everyday life. And then you have these people over here who are like, no, because Karen Reed could be any of us. John O'Keefe could be any of us. John O'Keefe could be my brother who works for the Canton Police Department or the Boston Police Department or the Stoughton Police Department. That could be anybody. This could happen to anybody. And these people who have children are concerned about that future that their children's children are going to live in. They're concerned about the nest that they're building for them. Because if it can happen to Karen Reed, it can absolutely happen. If it can happen to Karen Reed, if it can happen to John O'Keefe, it can absolutely happen to any one of you. I live in Tennessee. It could happen to me. That's why I'm concerned about it. Because if it can happen in Massachusetts, it can happen in Tennessee. If it happened in the town of Canton, it can happen in the town I live in. So that's why I'm up here speaking about this. Because that's my biggest concern of all this. Yes, I'm concerned about the fact that an innocent woman is being railroaded. I'm concerned about about the fact that a guy discovered so much evidence on this and blew the whistle, and now he's being railroaded. These things concern me, of course, but what really concerns me is the fact that these people are who are responsible for this are still in a position of power, capable of doing this to anyone else. And that ripples across the pond being the United States of America. I appreciate you guys actually sticking around, those of you who did. But yeah, my internet definitely went down there. Sorry about that. So I forgot where I was. Oh, yes, I was on a rant about freedom. Yes, it's snowing like really bad here. So yeah. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. This is the video where
Keeper of the forged signature again.
cited for what they were doing.
Papers in their hand. What are they gonna do? Huh? Yeah. 4 cops.
Oh man, I wish oh god, I would kill for a pizza right now.
I know there's 4 of them with papers in their hand.
I wish I could get a pizza.
Hi. What?
Section 13A, if anyone wants to read it.
Oh, we already know about it.
Okay, well, you're in violation.
How are we in violation of it?
Directly across the street is a witness to a criminal crime. So.
And of course, we have to point out, folks.
Okay.
We still have to point out that a witness to a criminal crime, I mean, is he a witness? I thought he didn't witness anything. That always has to be pointed out. So
I want to take a look at that.
Read that? Yeah, you can't be within that shot.
We're not doing any of that.
Peacefully protesting. You guys want to read it further? We get the peaceful
protest. I saw you ask. I know. I know what
Okay. What does eyesight mean? Like directly in front? I mean.
But why do we have to? We're not. Okay. But not really. But not really. But not really.
Okay, so. Yeah, eyesight. Like if he stands outside, is that out of eyesight?
But where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of the section? Because
that's the section.
Okay, but where's the rest of the section that says that?
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad. I think we got.
Bob Brown, thank you so much, buddy. Will, I wanted you to be the 14th defense attorney. I am now promoting you to Norfolk County District Attorney. Well, thank you. Sounds like a lot of work, though. Thank you, Bob Brown. I appreciate you, buddy.
That's the section.
Okay, but where's the rest of the section that says that? Okay.
What
if I just walk up and down this street without violation?
Yeah, you're an eyesight. So tell me what I can. I can't tell you exactly what you can do, because you can't be an eyesight.
But I mean, technically, we're really not eyesight. I mean, D&E's over there. We're in front of.
Can you see D&E?
Oh, so
We're out
like.
of his eyesight at all times. We can monitor where he is, so we're out of his eyesight.
I wouldn't say you have to go that far. What I'm saying is, you can't set up shop directly in eyesight of a.
Was it because we were yelling? Oh, because I was gonna say we didn't yell.
I mean, there's nothing in there about eyesight,
What are
bro.
we influencing
Is there?
the witness of doing?
I don't know. I have to read the law again. Doesn't
we're
fucking matter, though.
Don't testify. We're not saying that. But but that's what it says. So what does that?
Taxes. That's all I want to know.
You don't want to debate it, but you don't want. You're not. This is not matching what you're saying. How is it matching what you're saying? Literally right here.
So we can move up a little. Yeah. We'll just move up a little.
Building of residence occupied and used by such a judge, juror, witness. We're not. But it says that we're intent of influencing to discharge of their duty. We're not doing that.
We can't determine intent.
You can. It's not up for interpretation. It is what it is.
You can see none of our. We have free Karen read side.
I mean, do you have a highlighter so I can highlight that for you?
You guys have signs calling Albert was in the house, free Karen Reed.
Okay.
That's our opinion, though.
Yeah, it's all opinion. But again, what we're saying is.
But what you're saying is it matching.
God, man, it sucks to be those cops, dude.
That doesn't match what you're saying.
I mean, and these cops, like, these people are being very patient with the cops too. Just like, hey, listen, dude, you know, I'm trying to tell you that this doesn't match what you're saying. I'm trying to give you an opportunity here to justify what you're doing right now, because we already have the justification. The Constitution already justifies our actions. So what is your justification for giving us a hassle?
To discharge of their duty. We're not doing that. His duty
Keep
is
it on
to
video.
testify. We're not saying
My phone's gonna die.
Yeah, like if it's stopping him from his duty, like he's not doing anything. Like being across the street, and his duty isn't even like listed in the law as like making pizza and chicken parm. His duty is as a witness to be able to testify. And these people standing there with signs and t-shirts should not sway this guy's duty to testify. I mean, how in the shit is that constitutional in the slightest bit? This is a guy who, I mean, all right, well, there's your opinion. I got it. You know what I mean? Like he's not, you know what I mean? It's not swaying people from across the street. You know what I mean? It's not swaying his customers from being able to testify, because they're not up to testify. He is. Chris Albert is. So how is his duty to testify being somehow influenced or somehow, you know, intercepted? It's ridiculous.
I guess again, I'm not.
So can we go? Okay, so what are you gonna do if we don't move?
Anywhere
No, we don't want to go where you guys tell us to go.
You guys can go anywhere you want, not nice. I'll leave that up to you guys.
Okay, so what are you gonna do if we don't go? If we don't move?
All right, so well, I guess we can go on the other side of the street because that wouldn't be eyesight, right?
Correct.
Can you see DNA from?
Well,
if you're standing on the
I mean, I could this way, but
we're not facing it. We can't see it. Where's the law say about his eyesight?
No.
It says within
There's no witness's eyesight.
It doesn't say that.
Wait, within his eyesight or ours? But if we were protesting Chris, it would be different.
Where does it say eyesight on here? Just trying to see that.
I mean, let's just be honest. The corruption goes, I mean, it's all connected to the Alberts, dude. Let's just fucking be real here, dude. I mean, if Chris Albert called Ken Mello called the Canton PD, then Chris Albert is sitting, if he's sitting on the Canton Select Board, he's an elected official, and he's absolutely accountable for impeding on their First Amendment rights. And he's connected to Brian. He's related to Brian Albert, who's the owner of the home. I mean, Chris Albert is totally accountable for impeding on their rights. He's an elected official. He sits on the select board. And so the violation of their rights trickled down from him. He weaponized his power as a Canton Select Board member to call Ken Mello, a special prosecutor who happens to be prosecuting the Turtle Boy case, and And then Ken Mello called the Canton PD. And now these Canton PDs are nothing but foot soldiers. These Canton PD officers are nothing but foot soldiers for Ken Mello, who it turns out are actually foot soldiers for Chris Albert. That's what it boils down to. Well, you could sue the city. You know what I mean? Like, whether you could sue Chris Albert or not, you could sue the city.
They don't have body cams.
Oh, you're 100% right.
Yeah. So tell Paulina if she's going to print stuff out and give it to us to make sure she does it correctly. No, we're good. It's not even valid. I would love to put it on.
You grab anyone's name who wants to.
I don't want to give my name.
Who wants to what?
Give their name.
Don't give
For
your
what?
name. Don't give your name. Why would you give your name?
No, we're not. but
Right.
Why do we
We're
want to
not
give our
doing anything
name?
illegal.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
We're just sitting here with signs.
I know you're just doing your job, but you're wasting your time because you're not doing anything wrong. I'm not giving you my name.
We can't even call the state police.
Thanks for coming.
Go sit in the corner, William. That's what my teachers used to say to me. Go sit in the corner, William. Think about what you've done wrong in my chat, William.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Thanks.
day.
Don't give them your names. Wait.
Right. They want names for retaliation. Absolutely. And yes, I timed William. Listen, I don't. We're not here. I understand that there are strong feelings about young jerks, and here's the thing about me, where I'm at. I see him as a fellow YouTube creator, and I also see him as having his own opinion. I have my opinions on his opinions, but regardless of the fact, the thing is I don't take his recent actions personally. I don't even know if I find anything, if I even get to find anything wrong with it. That's my whole point, is I don't even know. I got no feelings one way or the other, if I'm being honest. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a local there, and he's a local. I don't get to take a side on. I don't get to take a side on the locals there versus the other locals there. I don't get to do that. That's between you all, and I respect all of your opinions. But you have to understand my perspective on this. Is I'm not a local there, even though I respect all of you, and I do respect all of your opinions. But it's not my place to take a side on what people's feelings are about young jerks and what they are. And I'm not in a position to do that. So, Polished Pete, you're going to have to seek that information elsewhere. It's just not something that I'm going to, directly address on this channel. And, I played that stream. We went over it. We talked about it. I stated what I got out of that at the time. That's as far as my opinions go. That's it. Thanks, Dave's channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is you know, my dog in this fight is besides an innocent woman and a guy whose rights have been violated. um you know, again, that could happen to anybody. That could happen to any of us. That's where I'm at on that. uh you know, but I feel like his actions in some way have affected some people personally, and you have a right to feel how you feel about it. I don't, I'm not in a position to where I could weigh in on that. You know, I just don't feel um entitled to do that. So I hope you guys can understand that. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he starts spewing out shit that just don't make any sense and it applies to the stuff that we're talking about, I'm gonna be like, well, that shit doesn't make any sense. You know, but how the guy feels is not, it's not my place, man. You know? But I feel where you're coming from, Super Proctor. So yeah, I have to agree with you. But honestly, I mean, as far as now tomorrow, I'll definitely do a stream tomorrow, and we'll see what happens as far as that hearing tomorrow. I just wanted to address what we were looking at, what was probably going to be talked about, and I really couldn't do much about it. I'm so glad. I mean, Dave from Making Law Simple came in and saved my ass because I had no idea how to explain that shit to you guys. And still a lot of it is kind of over my head, but what I got is the most important thing, I believe, to get out of that is the fact that these people have filed this civil suit just to simply protect their right to be able to protest. They're not looking for anything beyond that. It doesn't seem like they're looking for anything beyond that. And I think that is incredibly inspiring. And I think that's exactly what the hearing tomorrow, GM, is there's a civil suit filed by members of the Canton Nine against the Canton Police Department. And there were motions filed and whatnot. So, but I don't expect a lot to happen from this hearing. This seems to be, as Dave explained it, the early stages of a lawsuit. So there's still some mediation that has to take place. The court is still trying to understand what the complaint is, the nature of the complaint, things of that nature. They're trying to figure out exactly what is the case, and to see also if there could be some sort of mediation before this ends up going to trial, if they can come to some sort of agreement. But I don't think that they're going to budge on the fact that I think the point of this is to make sure that this law, this 268, 13A, and 13B law, it's on the record that it's unconstitutional, and they've been charged, and those charges should be dropped. And those charges should absolutely be dropped under the grounds that the law itself is a violation of their First Amendment rights, which also is a violation of Turtle Boy's First Amendment rights. So what they're doing is absolutely heroic. So even no matter what, the fact that they were able to get a judge to listen to this is a win in and of itself to a certain degree. So we just have to stay hopeful that it moves on and it makes a difference. It moves beyond this court and makes a difference. So I'm really looking forward to that, to find out, because this is a big deal. They are absolutely putting on the record that their charges are unlawful and that the law used to charge them is unlawful. So again, Cherry has been sharing the Canton Nine's Defense Fund link. and she'll probably share it one more time. But if she does not and you miss it, you could check the description. It's there at the very bottom. So please, if you have anything extra, anything will do. These people absolutely deserve to have their cases heard and to have a strong defense. So don't forget that they are fighting for your rights, not just their own. So that is all the more reason why we should support them. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Guys, you are fantastic. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Those of you who did, and those of you who didn't are catching the replay. I apologize to you for my internet going down. It does happen from time to time. I apologize for that. But those of you who stuck around, I appreciate that so much. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.